Hi, I am Lydia, and I'm so excited today to lead you through a beginner's vinyasa practice. You might have been working with Marianne as she's been leading the beginner's course with you all, where she has kind of compartmentalized all of the sections of a typical vinyasa practice into your opening section, understanding introspection, and just accumulating the breath and sun salutations before working into standing, seated, and closing. So today we thought it'd be really nice to marry all of the things that you've worked with Marianne and tie them together into one practice. So it's a little less chatty. You will flow through things. As you already know, and you've probably been practicing, this is absolutely a space for you to keep your sense of autonomy and your sense of self and stay within the parameters that feel really right for you. So if that means that you would like all of your downward facing dogs to be a child's pose, then that can be absolutely the case. Likewise, if some of them want to be a child's pose, you take a child's pose. So just keep your sense of agency, keep your sense of self as we move through. I have got two bricks, one here and I am sat on one. If you have anything that resembles a brick, then grab it, have it by your side of mat space, whether that is just pillows or cushions, something that you can elevate yourself on. Likewise, if you worked with Marianne, you might have used a belt or a strap, and that could be a belt or a strap, or it also could be a dressing gown loop or a pair of tights. So if you feel like you need those things, then just press pause on the video now and go and grab them. So we will start in a seated space together and just be really kind of careful and tender with yourselves as you move through this, and just see if you can mostly focus on going from the beginning of the practice all the way through to the end. Don't worry so much about what happens in the middle. We will take care of that as we grow and work through these practices of yoga together. So I am taking a cross-legged seated space elevated on my brick just to bring the hips a little bit higher. If you prefer to be kneeling, then find your way to a kneeling space. And what we will do is we'll place the hands towards the knees here, but we're going to turn the palms upwards to face the sky. And keeping the hands and the fingertips just really soft, arms and shoulders relaxed and drawing away from the ears. But could you subtly just bring your chin a little bit closer towards your chest, just by half a centimeter or so, to lift upwards and lengthen through the back of the neck. Let's take a big lift of the shoulders to the ears as we inhale. And just roll them down the back as we exhale. And then just eventually closing the eyes if that feels okay for you, or just softening the gaze if you prefer. We start our practice with this sense of landing, organizing maybe the thoughts or understanding or inquiring as to how it is our body feels today. And I want to remind you in this space that the practice is a practice. The practice is not a performance. So your only requirement is just to be here present. If that turns into listening, let it turn into listening. If it continues through movement, let it continue through movement, but keep presence. So as you sit in the stillness, notice any sort of discomfort that you might feel. Twinges or urges that you might have to fidget or to move around. And maybe just play with this idea of resisting the urge to kind of change that space at all. And can you drop the brain into the bodies? And let this become a feeling space. And rather than feeling into the places of discomfort, can you start to shift it into the places that feel really expansive, the places that feel really nice? And as you let yourself just feel into maybe where the breath goes and the spaces that feel really comfortable, see if you can expand it just that little bit more into those spaces. So you can take maybe slightly deeper breaths as you breathe in through the nose. And exhale, just softly breathing outwards. And what we'll start to do is seal the lips. And it's sometimes quite nice. It's just an offering to press the tongue to the roof of the mouth here. And continue to breathe nasally. So you'll be inhaling through the nose and you'll be exhaling through the nose. And as you're breathing here, what I want you to sort of explore is this sense of not holding or restricting the breath. So you're not trying to suspend it at the top and almost taking that holding. But as soon as you meet the end of your inhale, can you drop the breath straight away into an exhale? So it almost carries this very circular fluid motion. And as you continue to breathe in this way, just bouncing the breath to the top of the lung space into the diaphragm. And then from the top of the lung space back down in towards the base of the bellies. And we'll keep this breath. Maybe throughout the entirety of your practice, but it might also be a reminder or something that we need to revisit. But just let yourselves breathe. That is the most important thing. In essence, you're not really doing yoga unless you're breathing through it. There's also an offering here that you might want to set yourself an intention, often called a sankalpa, a reason that you might be showing up to your mat or taking time to step into your yoga practice journey. Holding that in your mind's eye. And we're blinking open our eyes. Beautiful. So we're going to start to shift off any props that we might have been elevated onto and just turning to the long edges of the mat, the short edges of the mat, sorry. So placing the palms of the hands down towards the ground, and we're going to find a tabletop position. When you find your tabletop position, really spread through your hands super nice and wide. So you want to create a really big surface area, pushing in towards the palms of the hands, the tops of the feet, and start to almost feel like you're lifting up and out of your forearms, so energizing a little bit in towards the back of the body. And we'll just work through 3 slow cat-cows here. So the navel will lower down towards the ground. The heart will go upwards as we inhale. And as we receive our exhale, we'll push in towards the hands, bring the chin towards the chest and start to round slowly into the spine. Now keep going slow and steady. Belly goes down towards the floor space. Heart starts to curl upwards as we inhale. Pressing into the palms of the hands and rounding through the spines as we exhale. Once more, really conscious of our speed. Bellies go down, hearts go upwards as we inhale. Then pressing in towards the palms of the hands and rounding through the spine as we exhale. Let's keep this rounding of the spine. And then push in towards your hands and send your bum all the way back towards the heels of the feet. So you're in a child's pose now. Rest your forehead down towards the ground if that feels comfortable. Maybe there's a little shift from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. And then feeling your way into that sense of stilling. We're going to bring our chin towards our chest, push in towards our palms and start to roll up back in towards that angry cat space, back into tabletop. Look ahead of you, soften through the belly, stick the bum outwards and press the bum backwards in towards the heels, back into your child's pose. So taking 3 of these spinal waves, bring your chin towards your chest, rolling through your spine as you inhale. And starting to look ahead of you and then pressing the bum towards the heels of the feet as you exhale. 2 more here. So we receive the inhale and that carries our bodies forwards in space. We receive the exhale and we press our bums back towards the heels of the feet. We meet in child's pose. 1 more like that, rolling through the spine as we inhale. And then waving our bum backwards towards our heels as we exhale. Gorgeous. So then from here, we're going to start to bring ourselves up a little bit in towards that tabletop space. And we're going to tuck our toes underneath. And as you tuck our toes, we're going to start to lift our hips upwards to the sky, meet in downward dog. So as you find downward facing dog, your feet are about hip width distance apart here. Take as much bending into your knees as you need, but remember to keep your arms really long. What is really, really helpful is this finding of active pressure in towards the floor. So as you push in towards your hands, can you actually start to lift your shoulders up towards your ears a little bit and press your chest a little bit closer in towards your thighs? There's a sense of weight into the heels. So rather than being on tiptoes, could you drop your heels a little bit closer in towards the ground? And just absorb the sensation of that and remind yourselves to feel that breath. So inhaling. And then exhaling. 2 more, heavy head, really let that neck go. And then let's take a little rise towards our tiptoes. Just peel the heels of the feet away and look ahead of you. And just slowly start to walk your feet all the way towards the top of the mat. And they can be about hip width distance apart. Lifting through your heart by pressing your hands in towards your shins. Open through the chest space as you inhale. Knees can stay bent here. And then folding in towards your thighs as we exhale. Just keep your hands on your shins for a moment. Do that 2 more times. Push your hands in towards your shins. Pull your heart from your legs. Breathe in, open your face. Exhale, folding over your legs. 1 more. Pushing hands in towards shins, opening through the heart. Inhale. And folding in towards your thighs as you exhale. Let's just release the hands towards the ground. Pause in this fold for a moment. I've got a little bend in towards my knees. You take as much bending as you need. Don't worry about the hands touching the ground at all. None of that matters. Let go of that narrative of I'm not flexible enough, I'm not this enough. Just be you, just move in your bodies. And we are going to take a generous bending through the knees. Bring the chin towards the chest and start to roll up through the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then we're going to come all the way up and towards our standing. Roll your shoulders down the back. Turn your palms to face forwards. And maybe you want to heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. So I would say let's practice hip width distance apart with our feet today. But if it's comfortable for your feet to go together, take your feet together. Rolling through the palms nice and tall, Tadasana, tall through the crown, rooting through the feet, mountain pose. You're strong, you're steady. We're breathing, inhale. We're breathing, exhale. Let's bring the arms upwards towards the sky. Take a prayer above the head. Inhale, look at your thumbs. Bend through your knees, fold over your legs as you exhale. Bring your hands up towards your shins, open your heart halfway, inhale. And fold over your thighs as you exhale. Start to rise to standing. I like to bring my arms wide and high, at least for the first few. Bring up the energy, inhale. And then release the hands by the side of the body to Tadasana, mountain pose, exhale. Arms go up, inhale, feel the breath expansion. Exhale, folding, bend your knees, send your hands closer to ground, they don't have to touch. Inhale, press your hands towards your shins, pull your heart from your thighs. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Push through the feet, bring yourself energetically up to standing, inhale. Let your hands go by the side of your body, Tadasana, exhale. We layer. Arms go wide, inhale. Fold over your thighs as you exhale. So hands could stay on the floor space, hands could go to your thighs, your choice. Lift your hearts, inhale. Place your hands towards the ground as you exhale. Step it back in towards a tabletop position, but let's keep the toes tucked. Let's take 1 cat-cow. Lower down through the navel, lift up through the heart space, inhale. Pressing in towards the palms of the hands and rounding through the spine as you exhale. Move it back in towards your neutral space, tabletop inhale. Then just scooch your knees back a little bit. Pressing in towards your palms, pull forward through your chest space, inhale. Hug your elbows in towards your rib cage and lower slowly down to the bottom end of your press up. Release the tuck of the toes, push into the hands. Draw your heart forwards, roll your shoulders back, tiny back bend, inhale. Send your bum backwards towards your heels and tuck your toes, exhale. Lift your hips towards the ceiling space, find your downward facing dogs. Let's breathe into downward facing for 3. And calm breath for 1. Rising to tiptoes, look ahead. Just take a softness through your knees and start to tiptoe your feet all the way towards the top of the mat. Practicing with a lot of conscience and care. Lifting your heart, inhale halfway from your thighs. Folding over your legs as you exhale. Rising to stand, arms go up towards ceiling, inhale. Hands find side of body as we exhale. Now maybe we take the arms up through center. Bring the prayer up towards the ceiling space. Look at your thumbs. Inhale, Ardha Hastasana. Bending to fold over thighs, Uttanasana. Lift your chest, inhale. Fold your chin towards your shin as you exhale. Now press in towards your palms. Step it back into your high plank space. Pause in high plank, inhale, sip the breath. Send your knees down as you exhale. Pull your heart forwards on the inhale. You go to the lower end of a press up. It's called a chaturanga. Exhale. Release pelvis, untuck toes, tiny back bend. Roll the shoulders, pull the heart forwards. Exhale, tuck your toes, send your bum towards your heels. Lift your hips towards the sky, downward facing dog. So working through a modified version of your sun salutation. So you know already that we're working through the basis of a very classic vinyasa practice. So taking it maybe beyond any sorts of restorative or stretching that you might have dabbled with, and really preparing you for what those vinyasa practices might hold. We're going to take that lifting towards our tiptoes, look ahead, and start to step your feet towards the top of the mat. That might be a big step or it might be a few little steps. Lift your heart, inhale. And folding over, exhale. Rising up to standing on the inhale. And then bringing hands, side of body, exhale. Let's take one more sun salutation A here. Arms go up, inhaling. Fold over thighs, exhale. Lifting heart, inhale. Stepping back maybe with the opposite leg in towards your high plank space. Sip the breath, inhale. You lower down through your knees or maybe high to low press up chaturanga. Hover your body from the bottom. Go forwards and upwards. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tucking your toes. Lifting your hips, downward facing dog. They all meet together. Take the version you need. Keep pushing into those palms, almost slightly tilting your pelvis up a little bit. Open through the backs of your legs for this inverted V. Rise towards your tiptoes. Land your feet at the top of the mat space as feels right for you. And lift through our heart, inhale. We fold over our legs, kiss your shins, exhale. Rise up to standing on the inhalation. Hands find side of body as we exhale. So this is the cardiovascular element of your practice. Bend through your knees to lift your arms to the sky, Utkatasana chair pose. So if you're feeling a little heat, that's normal. Fold over your thighs as we exhale. Lift your hearts, inhale. Hands to ground, exhale. Step back into high plank space. Chaturanga, maybe knees go down. Really look forward to tip of nose. Still at tip of nose, inhale. Tuck through your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog as we exhale. Now ground your left heel, turn your left toes out. Press into left foot, step the right foot in between the hands. Virabhadrasana A, warrior one. Lift your prayer to sky, inhale. Let's frame right foot, exhale. Let's just step it straight back into downward facing for now. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. Turn the right toes out, 10 past 12. Turn the right heel in. Left foot steps in between the hands. You can support this by hugging the left leg in with the foot. Root down through the feet. Lift your prayer high, warrior one, inhale. Hands frame left foot. Step it straight back to downward facing dogs. 2 breaths in. 1 breath in. Don't forget to breathe. Rise through to tiptoes. Step your feet to top of mat, as many steps as you need. Lift your chest, inhale. Bend your knees, exhale. Utkatasana chair pose, inhale. Press through the feet, lengthen through the legs. Heart is high. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, inhale. Uttanasana, forward fold, exhale. Lift your heart, inhale. Hands go down, exhale. Step back, high plank. Knees down or chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing is a back bend. Open your chest. Downward facing, lift your hips. Ground your left heel, 10 to 12 position with the feet. Right foot steps through. Warrior one, prayer goes high, inhale. Frame right foot, exhale. Either straight to downward dog or high plank, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upwards for inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right heel in, toes out, left foot between hands. Warrior one, inhale. Frame left foot, exhale. High plank. Chaturanga, low plank. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Hold the pose. Now take a little moment just to notice what it is you're feeling in this space. Again, it's practice and it's not performance. Just breathe, let yourself feel soft within the container of the bodies. One breath in. Let's meet in towards that upwards lift, heels from mat space, look ahead. Step your feet to top of mat. Pull your heart halfway from your legs. Inhale, open your chest, shoulders from your ears. Exhale, bend the knees. Utkatasana, arms go high. Lengthen through your legs, bring your arms by your side. Stunning. So we'll start to bend through the knee space. Utkatasana, arms high. Feet can be together or hip width distance apart. And it's really like you're just about to sit on a chair here, but you're just slightly pulled up. I would squeeze a little bit through your thighs and almost start to feel like maybe you're tearing the mat apart with your feet. If it's too much on the arms, just bring the hands to the hips. Breathe for 3, inhale. Exhale. Breathe in Utkatasana for 2. And for 1. And then from this space, we're going to start to fold and lengthen the legs. So we'll bring the feet hip width distance apart if they were not hip width distance apart. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Now you're going to grab a hold of your big toes with your first finger and your middle finger. And make a lock with your thumb. Push your big toes into your fingers, pull your heart up, inhale. Knees can be really generously bent here. Tip your weight forwards. Bend your elbows to the side of the space and fold over your legs as you exhale. Now there's this sense of almost the toes pressing in towards the pads of the fingers and the fingers trying to press into the pads of the toe. Can you keep bending your elbows to the side? And can you maybe nod the head yes and shake the head no? Really relax it, let it go. So there's effort where we need effort, there's softness where we don't. We're constantly trying to find what that appropriate amount might feel like. Now we're going to push the fingers, toes together to pull the heart away from the thighs as we inhale. And then we're going to place the hands down towards the ground as we exhale. We're going to step it straight back and find downward facing dog, lifting your hips up towards the sky. Now, firm pressure in towards your hands. Spread the fingers as wide as you can here. I can't stress that enough. Push in towards the pads of the fingers, push into the heels of the hands. Take a deep, deep breath for me. Inhale. And then follow it with that soft exhale. Now pressing down, we're going to extend the right leg up a little bit. Inhale. Scoop the knee towards the nose and plant the right foot in between the hands. Ground down through your left heel. Now bring your arms up towards the sky. Inhale. Let's heel toe that right foot a little bit more to the edge of the mat. So you're thinking that you're on those train tracks, not a tightrope. Bending in towards your right knee. Now here, I want you to press in towards the little toe side of your left foot. So as you're bending in towards the right knee, you're keeping the tone through the front of the left leg here to support your back left knee. Arms are lifting up. Let's take 3 long breaths. Inhale. Exhale. And I will constantly remind you to breathe in through the nose. Again, if it's too much on arms, bring hands to hips. Take 1 more. Beautiful. So from that space, we're going to lift up a little bit. Inhale. Turn your left toes out and heel toe that right foot so you're back into that tightrope line. Bending in towards the right knee, and the left toes actually want to turn inwards to the top left corner of the mat. So your hips are on a diagonal, your chest is square. Bend in towards that right knee, and you can take this as deep as you need, but keep the tone in the left thigh. Efficiently send your focus down the right middle finger. So we want to reach through the 2 arms. So there's a really beautiful quote where you're not necessarily trying to reach for what is ahead of you. You're also not focused on what is behind you, but but you happily exist at the center. You exist in the middle, exactly where you are. Inhale in warrior two. Exhale in warrior two. One more full breath in. Now, nothing changes with the legs. We're going to place our right forearm onto our right thigh, extended side angle. As you place your right forearm, can you lift up through the underside of your right rib cage? Push down through that left little toe and lift your left arm high. So you push in towards that right forearm, lifting right lung to left lung. You can stay here or you can carry your left arm alongside your head. Make this gorgeous stretch from your left fingertips towards your left heel. If it's too much on the neck, look down. If it feels okay, rotate the gaze. One more here, inhale. We're going to come back into warrior two. Feel the breath. Now start to lengthen your left leg, right leg. Heel to left foot in. Now pull your left hip back. Reach for your right fingertips. Send your right hand actually really high up on the leg, maybe placing your right hand towards your shin. If you have the bricks, take it to the bricks. Lifting and stack your left shoulder on top of your right shoulder. Now pull your right rib cage to your left rib cage. You want to feel that this hand is doing really light work here. So you're not actually focusing on going down, you're focusing on going up and expanding. Utthita Trikonasana, 3 breaths. Inhale. For 2. Beautiful. Look down to the ground. Take a little bend in towards that right knee and place the fingertips down to earth. Turn to the long edge of your mat. We are moving into Prasarita, wide leg forward fold. Feet not too wide here. Turn your toes in. We call that pigeon toe. Wrap down through the little toe side of the feet. So you're not rocking weight into toes here. Push your fingertips to ground. Or to brick space, lift your heart. Inhale. Maybe you just pause here, and if you're staying nice and high, bring your chin in towards your chest, softness through your neck. If you feel today there's a little bit more space for you, take the hands down. Maybe just start to soften your elbows as much as feels available. Rolling to fold into your Prasarita. Pour the weight into toes. Try not to sit back in those heels and lift your knees up towards your hip space. One more breath in. And then we're going to start to lift ourselves. If we lowered, open through the chest, inhale. Turn and frame your right foot on the top of the mat now. So you're turning to the top space. Left knee is going to go down towards the ground. Let's keep a tuck of the left toe. We're going to come up in towards a low lunge here. Lifting your arms high towards the ceiling as you inhale. Now as you exhale, place your right hand to the top of your right thigh. And then start to cross your left arm to the outer side of your right leg. Placing your fist, so curl your fingers in, into the palm of your left hand. Now I want you to do that so you can push your fist in towards your left palm. And as you push your fist in towards your left palm, there's leverage for you to lift the left side of the lung upwards. Roll the gaze over the shoulder. We have our 3 breaths. So we know the rhythm now. Inhale. For 2. We're breathing 1. At the end of your exhalation, look down towards your right foot and frame your right foot with your hands. Let's step back into that high plank space. Knees elevated or knees down. You make a choice. Inhale. Look to tip of nose. Really controlled. Elbows in. Slow as you can. Chaturangas. Upward facing. Push down. Pull forwards. Make a back bend. Exhale, downward facing. Lift your hips to sky. Hold in downward facing. Now just check in with how you feel through that right leg here. Notice any sensations, any feelings that you have in the asymmetry. If you lost your breath, remind yourself to breathe. And then really root in towards that right foot. We extend the left leg just away from the ground. Inhale, not super high. Draw the knee towards the nose as we exhale. Step the left foot through so you can encourage that foot through towards the hands. Ground your heel. Heel to that left foot a little wider. We come up, heading into the knee. So here you might see a little bit more clearly that we're not rolling the pelvis outwards. Pull back on the left hip, pull forwards on the right. Arms high, Virabhadrasana A. Your warrior poses are really grounding. stability, strengthening. But like I said on this first side, keep rolling that little toe down towards the ground. Inhale. One more breath. Gorgeous. We start to shift this in towards warrior two. So come back to that tightrope. Left heel pretty much in line with right heel, but turn those toes to top right corner of the mat. Bend into left knee. I always stress this in my classes, hips on that still diagonal. Protect your back knee, don't drop in, then wrap your chest. Efficient gaze down left middle finger, that's called your drishti point. And perhaps you're thinking of someone that you love or someone you care for sitting on the tip of that left middle finger. Gaze into their eyes, inhale. And wavering gaze helps the meditation process for one. Nothing changes in legs. Drop your left forearm onto your left thigh. I want you to push into your left forearm to lift the left side lung up. Right arm goes alongside the head. Inhale, you can stay, or that right arm goes alongside the head and the ear. Pressing in towards that right little toe. Active reach through your fingers here. Stretch and lengthen for 3. Breath in this for 2. Beautiful. We're going to come back into warrior two. So that's that lifting upwards. Look down your left middle finger. Lengthen left leg, heel toe right foot in. Shift back through your right hip. Reach forwards, Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Hand to shin or light with that gaze. Pull up, inhale. Navel through to spine, exhale. Loads of work in the obliques. Keep reaching arms in opposite directions. Beautiful. Bending subtly through left knee. Prasarita, wide leg forward fold. But that's this time. Lift our hearts a little bit, bending towards your knees. Interlace your hands at the base of your spine. Roll the shoulders down. Lift the arms. Inhale. Folding over as you exhale. So you get that nice opening through the shoulder space here, front of the chest. Do keep your weight forwards in towards your toes though. Press in towards the little toe side edge of the foot. One more breath in. And then we'll release first the fingertips down towards the ground space, and then we'll pull our heart upwards as we inhale. And we'll start to turn the left toes towards the top front line of the mat. Exhale. Right knee will go down towards the ground. Keep the right toe tucked. Lift your arms high to sky. Inhale. So I like to place my left hand towards the top of my left thigh just to keep that centered and in its location. Right arm is going to cross outside of the leg here. Curl the fingertips in, make a fist with the left hand. Now this is about maybe not turning the toes in, checking that the toes are nice and forwards from the left foot, and then push down. You can see as I push my fist into my palm, I pull up through the body. Rotate the gaze, inhale. One more breath. Beautiful, unravel. Hands go down towards the ground, step back, sip the breath in, inhale. High plank, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing on the inhale. Downward facing on the exhale. Hold downward facing for 3 breaths, in through the nose. Maybe we could take a collective breath, inhale. Open the mouths. Reseal the lips for the 3rd, inhaling. And keeping lips sealed, take a rise towards your tiptoes and send the knees down towards the ground space. You're going to release the tuck of the toes, set the bum towards the heels, and just shift the hands over towards one side. Swing the legs out round in front of you. So this is really nice if you have a little bit of elevation here. It's not gospel, take what you need. But perhaps if you have a brick or a cushion, this is your opportunity to just take it underneath your bum. And bend the knees when we get there as much as you feel like you need to. So we're lengthening the legs out in front of us here. We're flexing through the feet. So you work through Dandasana. So feel that sense of lift. Now, we're going to keep that sense of lift, but rather than pressing fingers down and shoulders for me is like we do in Dandasana, we're going to keep that lifting upwards. Heels rooted, knees subtly bent, flexion through feet, arms go up, inhale. Now I want you to pull up through your head, your heart, and your fingers as if you're trying to lift and create a little bit more expansion through your lungs and through your rib cage. Take that sense of lift up in towards the chest, inhale. And then maybe there's a sense of folding as you exhale. Now it might be that your hands just go down towards your shin space. And as you lift in towards that, you pull the heart forwards and maybe there's a softening as you fold. Hands could go down maybe a little bit wider at the foot. Again, maybe there's a pulling upwards through your heart and folding. You might have natural flexibility, maybe folding chin towards the chest, breathing to that space or holding outer edges of feet or big toes. I'm going to place my hands down towards the ground and just focus on the flexion remaining. So there's many different ways of folding. You can have the rounding through the spine, the chin to the chest, or you can lengthen. I kind of like to do a little bit of both. I like to feel that my ribs are almost traveling down my thighs, but then I really like to drop my chin in towards my chest just to breathe into the softness and space of that at the end. One more breath in. And slowly just walking yourselves back up with your hands, elevating your body. And let's lift the arms on the top of that as we inhale. Now we're going to bend through the knees, just taking one foot at a time back down towards the ground space. And walking your hands back. So a little bit behind you, bricks can still be there. We'll move that in a moment. So walking hands back, you can have your fingers slightly turned out, or you might want to press in towards the palms and turn your fingertips inwards towards your hips. We're going to push down in towards soles of feet, palms of hands. Reverse tabletop or a variation of Purvottanasana. So as you press down, send your pubic bone upwards. Now roll your shoulders from your ears, lift through your heart, squeeze your scapulars. If you can still breathe, open through the throat. One more in. And then bringing the head back first. And just before you set all the way down, just take the brick or the prop, whatever you had away from you, and then lengthen through the legs. We can bring soles of the feet down, knees a little bit bent as we just wrap the arms underneath the thighs. Bring the chin towards the chest and just take a little moment to fold over here. Maybe there's a little rock or a sway from one side to the next. And then slowly, we're going to start to release and pull our heart upwards again. So we're going to extend through the right leg. Bending through the left foot, we're going to bring it towards the inner seam of the right thigh or towards the inner seam of the right ankle, whichever feels right for you. Heaviness through that heel and ankle again. So Janu Shasana A, lifting up through your arms as you inhale. Now, as you lift up, take that full extension and breath. Take a small rotation of your navel over. So you're thinking about your navel being attached by a thread to the center of your right thigh here. You're going to feel that breath and lift, inhale. And as you exhale, maybe you're taking your arms a little bit wider as you fold over, or just folding yourself down and over your right thigh. Can you keep a sense of softness in towards your left hip, but flexion in towards your right leg? Now, your seated postures are not totally restorative. They're actually here to provide you with the opportunity to gain a little bit more flexibility without the muscular effort and requirement of your standing postures. Two more breaths. Inhale. Beautiful. And then starting to slowly walk your hands back up your right leg here. And we're going to walk our hands back behind us. Let's come back in towards that reverse tabletop. Hands go down, maybe fingers spiral out, feet press down. Lift up through your hips. Take an inhale, roll through the shoulders, open through the heart, chest, maybe the throat. That's on you. Inhale. Push into heels of hands and thumbs. Send the hips back down towards the ground. Pull your chest and heart forwards. It's then through your left leg. Let's go straight away to the second side, Janushasana A or Janu A, you might hear it called quite often. Right foot into left thigh, inhale. So we pull upwards. I want you to feel that sense of lift to extend, little rotation of navel through to thigh, and then folding. Hands go down, maybe that's touching through the thighs, arms wider, forearms to earth. So with this sense of rotating, we get this really beautiful sense of lengthening and almost stretching through the outer edge of our right side. So maybe you feel that a little bit in the right side of the pelvis, down almost on the outer edge of the right hip. One more breath, inhale. And then really slowly, we'll just start to walk our hands back up again. And then from this space, we're going to find Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So as the soles of the feet together, you can have this as close with heels to pubic bone or as far away as possible. It's whatever you need. So the hands are going to hold onto the feet just for a moment, as if you're reading a book. So the little toe side of the feet pressed together, thumbs wrap in, lift through the chest, inhale. Now, can you press and continually press the little toe side edges of your feet together? Lift your arms up for a moment. Inhale to feel that sense of expansion. So you can relax and soften in towards the hips. And as you exhale, can you start to reach forwards for a moment? Take a breath. Keep pressing in towards the little toe sides of the feet. Inhale. And then as you exhale, can you release the hands and hold onto the foot underneath the ball of the foot? Elbows might drop into the thighs. Pull your chest forwards. Inhale. And then keeping your spine nice and long, just start to gaze down a little bit. So we're not actually trying to fold necessarily too far. I want you to keep your spines long. Inhale to keep reaching crown in opposite direction of sit bones. Maybe a little bit of pressure of elbows into legs if you feel you have more scope for expansion. One more breath, inhale. And then slowly you're pressing down to bring yourselves all the way back up, and just gather the legs by placing the hands outside of the knees. Bring the soles of the feet back down towards the ground space. Lift your chest. Heel to your feet a little further forwards. Now you could roll down towards one side. This does not have to be perfect. This can be messy. Or if you wanted to play, reach through the fingers, press down through the toes, inhale, and you just find that scooping of your navel towards your spine as you exhale. And we're going to go all the way down towards our back bodies. Slowly releasing our spines to the ground, and then just bring the feet a little bit closer. So from this space, as you step the soles of the feet down towards the ground, you want your heels of feet close enough that you can pretty much tickle the backs of your ankles with your fingers. So keeping them in that space, press the palms down either sides of your hips. Now wrap your shoulders in towards the ground as well. Then slowly, you're going to start to peel your pubic bone up towards your nose. Press your soles of feet, palms of hands and shoulders, and move upwards in towards your supine bridge. Now squeeze your glutes on for me and press in towards your feet. Feel that there's a subtle sense of almost hugging your thighs in towards one another. Press your shins forwards and soften through your rib cage. Breathe in this for 3. Inhale. Breath in this for 2. Maintaining this for 1. And slowly rolling down through your spine, 1 vertebra at a time. We're going to do that one more time. So lifting your pelvis up towards the sky, rolling all the way upwards, feeling that breath push through toes and feet. Maybe you want to roll your left shoulder, roll your right shoulder underneath you, and interlace your hands, pushing through the palms of the hands, lifting through the hips, breathing, inhale. So it's giving us this really beautiful sense of a back bend that lengthens through the fronts of the thighs, but also through the frontal hip points and in towards the belly as well. One more breath in. Before you go down, release your hands, support your weight, roll down through your spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Let's just open the arms for a moment and just take a little windscreen wipe with the knees. So dropping them over towards the left-hand side, scooping them back to the sky, and then dropping them over towards the right-hand side. Let's just do that one more each side. Just a little breath in each space. Now, absolutely, if you are close to a bed, a sofa, or a wall, then you can start to shimmy yourself to there. Bring your bum quite close to the wall space or the bed, whatever it is that you're using. And you might want to drape and extend your legs to the sky. So if your center of your space is like I am, you can just lift your legs towards the ceiling. Now, as we find this space with the arms open wide, your only sort of focus is just to keep a sense of length through your legs here. So the knees can be bent, but they try not to buckle. They're trying not to fold on top of you. Knees stacked over hips, ankles stacked over knees. And you can definitely close your eyes. And this is not actually an asana in terms of your postures. This is a kriya. So it's a little bit more of one of those cleansing spaces that we go to, a detoxifier. And then we're just going to see if we can together take at least 10 breaths, inhaling. And each time that you feel maybe a little tremor or a little shake if you're centered, can you just remind yourselves of all of the places that you are anchored and you are settled? And if your legs are up the wall or up the bed, feel free to stay there a little longer, but I definitely encourage you to meet Shavasana. If you're with me, just starting to bend through the knees, hug the legs in towards the chest and wrap the arms around the fronts of the shins. Give yourself a little squeeze and a small sway from one side to the next. And then we'll slowly start to close the gap between the thighs and lift the nose to meet the knees as we inhale, make a small ball. And as we exhale, let's release and find our way down towards our Shavasana. And as you find Shavasana, what I often see with people maybe just a little less familiar to the practice is this sort of closing offwards. So their legs might be crossed, their hands might be onto the stomachs, or maybe just hands touching one another, which is absolutely fine. But see if you can explore today a little bit more sense of openness and expansion. So you're expanding from the center out. So as your legs go down, take them more or less wider than the mat, so the ankles and the feet just hang off the bottom corners. And also the arms are open and we can turn the palms upwards to face the sky. Settle the whole back of your bodies and spines into the ground. Let's take a breath together. Inhale. Open the mouths and exhale. One more time, confident sound. Inhale through the nose. If you have capacity to stay for longer, then please let yourself stay for longer. Just let yourself keep inquiring and to notice how it is you're feeling on all levels in all spaces. If you're with me, we can start to introduce a little bit of a wiggle or some gentle, slow movement through the fingers and through the toes. And this can become quite habitual. So maybe just really seeing what it is that you need. Maybe one little movement sparks interest in another space. Then you might take a full body stretch, bring the legs a little bit closer together, reach the arms overhead. Take this if it's your first stretch of the morning. Inhale. And then as we exhale, let's just gather the feet down towards the ground and roll either over towards your left-hand side or your right-hand side. It really doesn't matter at all. And the head can stay nice and heavy. Your bellies can stay nice and soft. And then we'll press in towards our top hands and start to bring ourselves up to seat. See if you can navigate this movement still with your eyes closed, if that feels attainable. And then coming back to a seat, I like to bring my hands in towards prayer. If you prefer to take your hands somewhere on the body, whether that's two hands over heart space or one hand to heart, one hand to belly, then please do exactly that. But we seal the practice in. So energetically, maybe you're noticing a sense of shifting from where you began. And your practice is this symphony, this union of the mind, the body, and the breath. And we want to have gratitude for arriving to this space, for carving out time to be here. We want to extend that gratitude outwards to those who made it possible for us to practice. Just a reminder that your practice is a companion. It might feel sometimes like a little bit of a mirror as to what is going on in your outside world. So it's definitely not something that we need to leave behind in this moment. It's something that we can carry with us, put out into the rest of the world, allow it to feel these subtle shifts that maybe become monumental shifts. And we start to live the practice rather than just do the practice. Your hands are in prayer. You might choose to lift your thumbs to third eye space, which is located at the center of the eyebrows or the center of the forehead, Ajna chakra. Continue to practice, and all is coming. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, and well done for moving through perhaps your first beginner's flow. I hope to see you so many more times, and we will continually start to weave in these beginners practices and layer them, level them up a little bit, but keep them as this beautiful foundation for you to return to. So I shall see you soon, and thank you so much.